Welcome to our show. We have some fun stuff for you today. We are going to do a self-check yourself before you wreck yourself during this holiday season.
Along with holiday sanity. They go well together.
Yes. And then we're going to kind of cap off everything with how we met. I don't know if we've ever discussed how we met, but we're going to discuss it. We had to we're like, how did we meet?
We had to make sure we remembered it the same.
But, all right, so let's start off with our little self-check yourself before you wreck yourself this holiday season. So we want to do this before the season starts. You want to get this thing rolling and get some good habits built up before.
Yeah, so you don't start sick and tired and miserable.
Exactly, even though we're probably going to start sick and tired.
You might. But, So, first off, hydration. And we wanted to do this first. I wanted to do this first because I really feel like hydration should come first. So, a few years ago, I was having headaches and I was having some other kind of health problems. And I happened to hear on some other podcast or in a book that you should wake up each morning and drink a cup or two of water. So a glass of water.
I've heard that.
And I drank a lot of water during the day, so I was like, okay. But I started doing it, and it was game-changing for me.
Really?
It helped with my headaches. It helped with some other stuff that I had going on. Wrong side of 40 kind of stuff. But it honestly really helped me so much. I started telling everyone. I told my children to do it. I still do it. So every morning I wake up, I have a glass of water, and it can be a little glass or a big glass. Mm-hmm. But the other great thing about it is that it got me hydrated. First off, that was awesome. But even if I started running around, and this is prime running around season, even if I started running around and didn't have enough to drink in the morning or in the afternoon, that early start really gave me a boost so that at 8 at night, I wasn't guzzling water, trying to hydrate, gonna pee 8 times at night. It's been a game changer for me. I love this habit.
All right. Good habit. All right. For me, my first, not first thing, I get up and drink a cup of coffee, but maybe I'll get up and drink a glass of water.
You could do the water, then the coffee.
Yes. And then I go outside. And I know it's been so nice, the past several months.
It's been nice.
It's only rained I don't know, once.
Yeah.
Rained my walkout one time or something like that. I don't know. Not very many times. I really never have an excuse, which is kind of nice because it's so nice outside. I should just go out and walk. This morning it was cold. Mm-hmm. And I had wished I brought a second layer, but I was too lazy to walk back to my house again.
You just have to walk faster.
I was on a walk. Why would you do that? Anyway, so yeah, to just the getting outside, just a little in nature, a little fresh air, it really goes a long way. And you just, you're like, it's cold, it's, whatever. It helps. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, and right now, I feel like all the health experts are talking about your circadian rhythm and getting the light in your eyes early in the day and how that's going to help you sleep later at night. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's amazing.
I do too. I absolutely agree. And then, obviously going outside, you're doing something. Obviously, you're not just going to sit out. Well, I mean, you can just sit outside and drink your coffee. You could.
It would still be good for you.
It would. But taking it a step further, I do my morning walk, and I try to do. I do 30 minutes, pretty much no matter what. Mm-hmm. I can get that in. If I have extra time, I'll go 45. I'll go an hour. It's just what I have time for. But at least 30 minutes, that just really gets me ready for the day.
Right.
And it helps my mindset. It helps everything. And I mean, you don't have to be one with nature during this thing. I mean, yeah, getting outside is nice. And this morning I did be one with nature. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't look at my phone. I just did the walk because I was a little, maybe I was nervous about, doing this. Or something. I don't know. Probably not. But I was just kind of it's a good time to chill. But also in the days before, as I was researching how to do the video for the podcast, I watched a few videos on how to record a podcast with video. And I got to 30 minutes and I had stopped and got a drink or whatever. I keep a cup at my mailbox, and I make this one route, and I come back every once in a while and get a drink. But anyway, I was sitting there, and I looked at my phone time because I wanted to make sure that I got to work on time and everything. But like it was 30 minutes, and I was like, there's no way I've been out here for 30 minutes. But it like passed like that, just with kind of low-key watching a video. I don't suggest it because you could trip and stuff like that, and it's not as relaxing when you're like multitasking, but you're still getting it done. It doesn't matter because you're still getting it done.
Right. So, I've even heard like even a 10-minute walk is like gonna transform a lot of things for that day. So I think little, big, whatever works for you.
Sure.
I always call my sisters and stuff or listen to stuff. You can listen to this podcast.
You could listen to this podcast. What are we talking about?
I know.
Of course, you definitely listen to something outside.
All right. Next, we were going to talk about exercise. And both of us love exercise in lots of different ways. I love weightlifting and yoga and walking. I know you love
weightlifting and walking, and I do love yoga. I just I need to come to your yoga class. I really plan on it. I always say that, but then it like kicks my butt, and then I'm like, oh man,
you come to my restorative. It won't kick your butt.
No, that's the one I went to. I went to the restorative, and it was like all these old people and me, and they were just like in all these pretzel shapes, and I was like, I am so stiff and so sore from lifting weights that I cannot get in this position.
Which is okay. That's what the props are for.
Okay. I'll do it again. I'll definitely do it.
And there is a place for all of that though too with exercise. I'll talk about yoga. So the yoga is so nice, and you can do yoga hard and hot and powerful, or you can do it anywhere in between, all the way down to where you're lying on the ground with props, nice stretches, maybe even just breathing or meditating your way through that practice. It's all good for you. It's all a little bit different. It works us differently, but it all has value. And one thing I love about yoga, whether it's fast or slow, hot or cold, is you're focusing on breath when you're doing yoga. So it's always at least a little bit meditation. So if you take a yoga class, you can check your meditation off because you're getting a little bit of that in there too.
That's good.
So
that's good. Yeah, for sure. Because my outside time, sometimes if I don't listen to something or, do something multitask, is like a meditation type thing. And I think that is like kind of an important like self-check thing, because you just kind of like gotta take a breath and be with yourself and like let everything else kind of, and it doesn't have to be woo-woo and anything like that. Just like time to yourself where you breathe easily and freely and like don't stress about it.
Right, and you come to your body, you come to your mat, as we say, you come to that moment and you can let go, hopefully a little bit of those other moments. So, what do you love about lifting weights?
What do I love?
I mean, I love it too, but I think you do powerlifting.
I haven't powerlifted as much lately, but ever since I hurt my sciatica, and or I pulled a hamstring is what I did. But it was like the sciatic area was the point at which it was painful, and I kind of like fell away from it. And then my shoulders, I've got calcific tendonitis in my shoulders, and I'm just going to complain about everything under the sun if I don't stop. But anyway, no, I like it because like when something is so hard, because I like lift heavy. I don't, I don't do like the moderate lifting. It's heavy, even if I'm not like specifically powerlifting. It's like you can't really think about anything else while you're doing that. It's not meditation per se, but you're breathing.
It really is.
Not what people would think is meditation, but it's like you are definitely in your body. You're not in your head. You are just concentrating on that 2 minutes or the however many reps or whatever that you're doing something. And it's like, you don't have to think about anything else.
Right. No, nice. I absolutely think it is a form of meditation to do that, because it does. In fact, I don't listen to things when I lift weights, almost because I shouldn't say I can't, but like, because I am focusing on it, sometimes I'll kind of miss what I'm listening to. Because I really am like in that moment. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I either do it not listening to anything, or I have this weightlifting playlist. It's all this like thrashing music. Everybody's just screaming, and it's like, and I like turn it up as loud as I can handle, and just like power through it or whatever. You can't do that for long stretches of time because I hurt your ears. But like if you have a really hard lift you're gonna do or move or whatever, I do enjoy that. But that's less. I mean, it's still meditative because you're still really out of your head.
It is because you are. Yeah, I agree. And I also like to lift heavy, but not in a powerlifting style, if that makes sense. Yeah. But a little bit lower repetitions and a little bit heavier, not as strong as you. But
you might be. I lost a lot.
Now that you're injured, maybe I'm as strong as you. But I definitely am a fan of shorter workouts just for a lifestyle. When I was younger, I did longer ones, and now I just throw, like this morning, I threw one in. Just a YouTube one with some dumbbells, 10 minutes, and it was done. And it's not perfect, but it is. Yeah. And usually I do 20 to 30 minutes, but it doesn't have to be like a big like bro session of 2 hours.
I know. I'm so guilty of like, if I don't have an hour to do this, then I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. And that's still, and for women our age, where we're just about to like lose muscle mass,
we're already losing density. We're already,
it's just falling off of our bodies. Yes. Like so it's so good for us.
The percentage you lose every year. It's like a percentage every year.
I think at menopause you lose. Okay, this is.
I should know this.
No, you quote this. Oh, Caroline might know.
No, I don't.
But at menopause, I think you lose 30% of your bone density. Like your hormones drop and your bone density. So you really want to be building it up before that happens, and then as and after. Yeah. To make sure that you're losing as little as possible. Yeah. And
the best way to build bone density, and it doesn't sound right because you're lifting with your muscles, but the best way to build bone density is lifting
your weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It works.
So.
All right. Well, we can quit preaching about it.
I know we preached hard. We like it. Next, we wanted to talk about food, and I know over the holidays, you don't want to get too neurotic, precious, whatever about food. A couple of things that I just, again, try to do. I try to have a little high protein breakfast. And then before each meal, I try to eat a vegetable. And before.
Interesting.
And yes, it is. If you've read, what's this called? She's the glucose goddess on Instagram, and she has a book called The Glucose Revolution. Okay. So that's where I got this. But it also helps with glucose spikes. So she has a whole method and some fun hacks that are very doable. But one of them is to eat a vegetable before anything else. And it is scientifically proven to lower your glucose spike. So if you eat carrots and then a bagel, your spike will be lower than if you just ate the bagel. You'll still have a little spike because you ate a bagel or a cookie or, a cheesecake. Sure. Whatever.
Carrots before cheesecake.
I do it. I'm telling you, I do it. And it helps you get the veggies in. So it serves a few purposes, but it helps get those fruits and vegetables, the vegetables in. But it also really will reduce your glucose spike and thus your insulin spikes. And so a lot of those things. So I eat before. I don't even worry about how much. A few carrots, a few celery, a few cucumbers, maybe a salad. If I was like a beautiful like home blogger, I would have a beautiful salad with sprouts.
Wouldn't we all?
But usually it's a bag of baby carrots or like literally a piece of celery. I'm eating like a rabbit. But
and that's a good thing to even do. Like while I'm cooking, I always like want to start sampling.
Yes,
but
I do too.
But I do often want crunchy things, so that would be a good idea to just like get that out while you're cooking and making whatever, and then you're not as like ravenous to eat when you get there.
And even if you already had just a little bit of vegetable, it'll lower that spike. So even if you're sipping on the apple cider and you're this and you're that, if you got that little veggie burst at the beginning, it's going to be helpful no matter what. So
now I've also heard like along that line with the glucose spiking and stuff like that restaurants, they give you bread or they give you chips or whatever, that spikes your glucose or whatever, and then you're eating, and then you have whatever, you have your protein and stuff like that. But then because you've had the bread at the beginning before anything, that makes you more inclined to want dessert.
Hungrier. Yes, for more sweets later.
Okay. So maybe either tell them to bring the bread basket later, or whatever.
Or before you leave, just have a handful of a vegetable, whatever, a veggie of choice at home. Because you have, I forget, but you have a little window. It's not
doesn't have to be 5 seconds before you eat.
Right. But you do have a window of time.
So, all right. Yeah, cool. So, to totally change gears, but it's still everything. Like your overall health, your literal doctor health. I think that's a good thing to have checked. Not necessarily now, but just anytime you're feeling not so great. It's going to happen. We're going to feel not so great during the holiday season. So maybe you self-check yourself at the doctor before, because with perimenopause, I have noticed that it's seasons. I have just been through a terrible, terrible season in which I have randomly gained weight. I have randomly felt horrible. I have randomly had all these symptoms and everything, and the mental health goes along with it, and just all this crazy stuff. I have not felt good for a while. I finally was I'm done. I'm going back to the doctor. I'm going to tell them all of these things, and the funniest part was when I went to my GP, they were the nurse was you need to pick 3, because I gave her my laundry list. I had on my phone, I had my notes app out. I was well, I have this. It was I don't know, 15 things. You have 15 things during perimenopause. I'm sorry. I have all these problems.
Yes.
And I didn't want to skip one because what if the one that I skipped was the one thing that would tell them exactly what was the matter, and that they could give me this or, recommend doing this, and it would, magically make it better. So I gave her my list, and she's you have to pare it down to 3 things because we don't have time. I was are you kidding me? Am I not paying for this visit? Is my insurance not paying for this visit?
Both of you are paying for that visit.
I understand that she doesn't have all the time in the world, but 3, anyway. But then I had another visit with a different doctor that sat with me and just talked for as long as I needed to talk. And she solved my problems, and it was very nice. And I feel now I am in the zone. I'm ready to take on the holiday season, and I think I'm good. So
that is interesting.
Yes. So if you're having the symptoms of perimenopause, menopause, whatever, or you just don't feel good and you don't know what's wrong, it's probably that. If you're a woman, it is probably that. If you're a woman, just go talk to somebody. Just they might have the exact right thing for you to do, because this list that we've got, this is not easy. I don't do all this stuff.
Right.
Some days I do, but not all days.
And I would definitely say too, again, don't get too tight about these things, you know? And if maybe with that water, when I did it, that's all I did. I just added that water for probably a year, and it took care of lots of other stuff.
Right.
And then maybe in a few months next year, you add the carrots, or maybe you buy a bag now and you just whenever, but every little bit helps.
Exactly.
So we don't need to stress if it's not all the time happening perfectly.
Right. And another thing about that with the holiday season and the stress of everything, and I'm not stressed yet about the holiday season or anything like that, but just generally, I actually took off, I have worn my Oura ring religiously since the beginning of the year. I took it off because it was stressing me out. It was telling me how bad I was sleeping, and it has this thing on my phone that's it actually says, "Don't you think it's time to stretch your legs a bit?" I'm shut up, Aura.
Rude.
I do what I want.
That's right.
I was I have done so many things today. Do you know what all I've done today? I am tired and I'm sitting down and watching a movie. Don't you think you should stretch your legs? No. Screw you, Aura. In fact, sometimes I do say that out loud. Screw you.
Throw it.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was causing, I finally realized it was causing me some actual legitimate stress that I wasn't sleeping well. Well, I felt like I was sleeping okay, but it was saying that I wasn't sleeping okay. But I felt fine.
Yeah.
Or you didn't get all your steps today. Well, I did other things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I never like put in my workouts because I don't want to like, because it does like calories you should have, and it'll put you in like, well, you've burned 2,600 calories. I'm like, I really seriously doubt that.
You're like,
that has happened, and if I see that number, I will want to replace that number in my diet, and like, okay.
Right.
Anyway, but it's the end of your deductible, so you might have
that is true.
You might have met your deductible, and so this is all kind of maybe free at the end of the year. I mean, at the end of the year is like the best time to get an elective surgery or whatever you're needing done.
Might ruin Christmas, but it'll be paid for.
But yes, but anyway, yeah, it's nice to like set yourself up to be the healthiest that you can be, or go get that blood test that you have been not getting, or whatever, and look at all your levels or whatever, and just get right.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
And I was just thinking as you were talking, like, even if that is just too stressful, you're like, I can't, there's too much going on right now. I can't do that. You could even just schedule them.
That's true.
And then you won't have to do them. But next year, when you've got time,
there you go.
They'll be there waiting for you. So.
Sure. And that's a load off your mind too. If you just schedule it, I think that's like, okay, I'm going to do this, but not now.
But not today.
Yeah.
Right.
Not today.
Right.
So, and then to switch gears again.
Yes.
We have this list. We're
looking at it.
We're very organized. Family time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that can be as restorative as any yoga session or workout or anything.
Yeah.
And planned versus unplanned. Like, during Christmas time, we always go to Santa Claus, Indiana. That is like our family thing. And I make everybody go around. There's like several, I don't know, maybe 10-ish Santas all around town. And so I make them go, my family, I make us all go and take pictures at every Santa. And they're just like, Mom, that is enough with the pictures and the Santas. And we do this every year. And I'm like, yes, but it's my favorite thing to do every year. Yeah. But yeah, like, and stuff like that I love. But also stuff I love is like, hey, who's here for dinner tonight? Oh, everybody. Oh, hey, you want to watch a movie? Yeah, what do you want to watch? And just like something like that. I think both of those things are fun, and it's good to have it like take some time to have some fun with your family before the season starts, because you'll be in a better frame of mind, and when it gets busy, then you won't be like, well, I didn't spend any time with people. I just did things, for people, but I didn't actually spend time with them. So, get in that time.
Yeah. Well, and I even love the idea of planning, like, hey, kids, block off this Saturday. We're going to be together. I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe it'll be boring, but we're going to be together and do the things. Because honestly, it is so easy. This person has a show. She has an orchestra concert. I don't know. I don't have any winter sports in my family, but sport, it has a tournament, all of that stuff. So I love the idea of like, this Sunday, we're just going to hang out at home. This Saturday, we're going to go to Santa Claus. We're going to do something, but if it's not ahead of time, sometimes it won't happen.
Yeah.
So I love that idea of just block it off. We're not hanging out with friends. It's just going to be us or your friends can come, however you do. Yeah. So that is a great one. And then I think our final one for this is sleep. Neither of us is good at sleep.
Nope.
So, I have a long and sordid history with sleep. I honestly have not slept. I started having sleep problems at puberty.
Oh.
And had really horrible sleep all through high school, early college. I went on a mission for my church and miraculously slept like an angel for that period of time. And I'm not sure if I think it's probably partly because we had such a schedule. Whereas in college, you're like, but such a nice schedule. I slept really well, honestly, until I had babies. And they don't enjoy schedules, babies.
No.
So, and then it's been kind of on and off where I've had good periods of sleep and bad periods of sleep. And I can't quite find the magic formula to make the good periods stay forever.
Sure.
Except for having that, maybe if I had that schedule where I always did the same thing every day at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's just not reasonable for life. However, I do have a few ideas of ways to stay not completely crazy. And sometimes I don't keep my own ideas and I cry in bed, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's
right?
fine. That is fine.
It's okay. It's okay. But when we got married, when I married my husband, which is almost 23 years ago, our anniversary is on Sunday.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Anyway, I would not sleep and get kind of stressed out and start to get up and do stuff. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, if you can't sleep, you might as well be productive. And he was like, I don't think that's true. He's like, have you ever tried just not sleeping and staying in bed and just relaxing, which is a little counter to some of the common advice. But I was so hardwired to get up and do and perform and be productive. I was like, well, I've got to use my time productively, so I'm going to do that. That it really wasn't healthy. And so I started just staying in bed, and on good nights, I will meditate and I will relax and I will go back to sleep. And it might take even an hour or two, but at least I always just tell myself, I am resting. I am resting. And that has often been very helpful, much more helpful than I am wasting time, which was my prior mantra. I am wasting time. I will be exhausted. Nope. I am resting. Rest is good for me, and that kind of thing. So that has been really helpful to me at certain periods of time. Do you have any?
Well, I have such bad sleep hygiene. It's not even funny. So I fall asleep on the couch.
Oh, my husband does this. This is a magic trick to me. I
can't sleep out there, and I have I watch my shows that I want to watch, like my active shows that I haven't seen yet, and I'm binging my way through whatever. And then I put on a comfort show that I've seen a gajillion times, and I fall asleep on purpose. And then I stay out there until I wake up, which is about 1, 2, 3 in the morning. It depends on when I went to bed or when I went to sleep, blah, blah. Then I get up and go to bed. And I feel like that helps me fall asleep. I feel like when I just get in bed and try to fall asleep, it doesn't really happen. But once I'm kind of already asleep, or I fall asleep easily, and you are not supposed to fall asleep to the TV. You are not supposed to have blue light on your face for hours and hours at a time. This is the worst thing ever. Don't do this. This is what I do. But my tip is, when I go get in bed, I refuse to think about things. I either try to replay a show I've seen or whatever in my head, or just think about that, just something very easy, whatever that I've already seen. And I don't like used to, I would run through my list of, okay, well, I have to remember in the morning I do this and this and this. No, that is anxiety talking. When you run through the stuff at night, that's anxiety. No, I say, nope, not going to think about that. And I just think about going to sleep. Even if I lay there for a while, it's okay.
Yep.
I just think about not what I have to do.
Yes.
Never what I have to do.
And I will give one more mental game that maybe will help someone. It's kind of helped me. My husband literally just sent this to me a few days ago. But you come up with a 4-letter word, whatever it is. Let's say it's frog. And for every letter, you will come up with 4 words that start with that letter.
Oh,
so fear, fight, frat, foo, and then you'll go on to the R, and just 4 words, and you'll just think them. And it has helped me fall asleep because it has kept me from that,
from thinking,
spiraling into that anxiety place. So as soon as I kind of wake up, let's say I go to the bathroom or something, if I don't instantly fall back to sleep, sometimes I do, but if I don't, I've been doing it, and it has been quite helpful.
Good.
I don't believe there are any magic bullets if you're kind of tricky with sleep like I am, but it has been helpful. So if it helps somebody else, great.
Good. All right. So just remember all those things.
Just remember everything about sleep and don't make any mistakes.
Well, we talked about self-check yourself so you don't wreck yourself, but now we're going to kind of pivot a little bit and talk about holiday sanity. So the self-check thing was like pre-holiday, and this holiday sanity is either like you can do it all of December, you can do it the day of an event, like you have to have dinner for everybody, whatever. You can do it the day of whatever your holiday celebration is, just whatever you need to do to get through whatever you need to get through.
Yes.
And the first and foremost, give yourself some grace.
Yes.
Give yourself a break. It doesn't have to be perfect.
And no one will notice if it is.
Is not.
Or it is not. But also if it is, they won't notice.
Exactly. Perfect is in your head.
Yeah.
It's your vision of what you need to be. And things never turn out the way you think. Anyway, give yourself some grace. As long as you're, together, having a good time, it's good. And along with that, separate the have-tos from the, well, I probably should. The have-to is like, you gotta have food for people. I mean, if you invite people over, you better have some food. If that means, like we got last night, and we're not sponsored by Olive Garden, but I will say this, they have a nice catering thing. So if you have like...
They should sponsor us.
Yes, they should. There you go. Olive Garden, give us a call.
Yeah, okay.
So, we got like a pan of lasagna, a pan of fettuccine, got a bunch of breadsticks, giant salad. It's the biggest salad I've ever seen in my life.
That's my favorite thing at the Olive Garden.
Oh, there's so much salad in my refrigerator right now. But we got it. We took it. Like we had like a change in our plans. We were gonna have my in-laws over, and my niece was here. We were gonna have everybody over for dinner, cook a nice dinner. Day completely blew up. So I was like, I think I'm gonna do something different. So I just got it. I went down. I had enough time to like drive down and get it. And then I took it to my in-laws house. We even had it over there. Didn't even have it at our house, but like it was so easy. Easy. And all the things like the decorating and stuff, you don't have to.
Right. I've been to a friend's house before where she invited us for dinner, had a day, and it was breakfast for dinner. She made pancakes, and it was so fun, and we had a great time, and it was perfect. It was cheap. It was easy. And it worked. It was wonderful. So it really doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly. And along that line, in our next episode, we're going to have some easy holiday recipes. Like we were just talking about it, we both make our Christmas morning breakfast the night before. Like I have an overnight breakfast casserole that you just make it, you put it in the fridge. By the morning, it's like quiche.
Yep.
And then I also have like an overnight coffee cake thing that I make that you just do the frozen rolls, and you actually put it in your oven with it off.
Oh, and then you just turn the oven.
Then you get up and then bake it, and then you get to have a fun Christmas morning, and you don't have to do anything but like turn the oven on, and you have something too.
Yeah, I just make a chocolate gingerbread loaf. It's not healthy, but it's fun.
Neither's mine.
And I make it the day before, but you could make it whenever before. Throw it in the freezer. It's done.
Okay, yeah. So just things like that. Just kind of think outside the box even on your stuff. And along that line, as you're thinking outside the box, plan ahead. I get so anal about it. I will actually put like, when I have a big dinner that I have to make, I'll like put, okay, so I'm going to need to put this in the oven at this time so that this can go in the oven at this time and this at this time. So I've got this whole line of like, timeline of what things have to happen. Never once do I actually need that timeline because something will happen in the beginning and throw everything else off, and then dinner will be like 20 minutes late. But everybody knows that.
And there's the grace, right?
There's the grace. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. But along that line, plan extra time because talking about cooking, yes, of course, plan extra time. But like even for like holiday shopping, getting around town, plan an extra however many minutes.
Ordering something off the internet even.
Yes.
It's going to take more days than it usually takes.
Everything's crowded everywhere. So just plan extra time. And then, then you're not being late to everything and you're not like rushing. Right. You've got that little extra cushion.
Right.
But.
All right. Along some of those lines, and definitely along the don't wreck yourself lines, one of my favorite things to do is take a little precious time in the morning you might have to get up early, but I hate to even say, oh, get up early if you have to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But get up and have a good meal. For me, that's breakfast. I know some people fast through breakfast. Whenever it is, be sure that you're not at Walmart about to eat your own fist or like steal food off the shelves and eat it. Be sure that you've got that first meal taken care of, that it's good for you, that it's filling, especially if you're going to have a really busy day. And then you've got that. Along that line, I have some things each day that are really important to me. And when I get to the end of the day, if I haven't done them, I feel sad. And so I try to get those things out of the way early in the day. And sometimes to truncate them. So maybe they're short. So exercise is one of them. It might be a walk. It might be whatever. I'll pull up a 10-minute YouTube video and I will do that 10-minute workout. And it is done. And at the end of the day, instead of me being like, oh, and I didn't even move my body, I have done this thing.
Yeah.
And again, truncate 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, but do the thing. As writers, it could be getting a little word count. Maybe it's just a little, or whatever matters to you as a person.
Yeah, makes you feel accomplished for the day.
Makes you feel like that day it went all right. Even if everything else went wrong. And I would just knock that thing out early in the morning. If you don't, it's okay. Be nice to yourself. But try to take that little 10-minute time and get that done.
And another thing that I'm bad at, but need to actually do, ask for help.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. People will help you if you just ask them and say something specific, just like, hey, will you do this? I'm bad at it, but.
And I think even the more specific the ask, the better result you'll get there.
Right.
So.
And the easier it will be for them to help you when they know exactly what you mean.
So instead of screaming at your kids to come in and help with dinner, if you can say, can you please come chop the carrots or whatever. I can only think about carrots. That's just all I eat. Just kidding.
Yeah. And the most important thing is to continue your good habits that you've made in the self-check. Just try to kind of ease yourself into it and not make it such a hard thing to do, but like if you can just keep up like the hydration and that'll make you feel better throughout the day.
Yeah. And it's done. You can do it after you pee in the morning and it's done.
There you go. Dixie cup in the bathroom.
That's right.
All right. So we will try to keep our holiday sanity this year.
Yes, we will. Good luck to us all.
Yes.
We just wanted to talk a little bit about how we met. We have been friends for many years, but we at first were just like far away across the room kind of friends.
That's
a little
true.
bit.
So we both belong to Midwest Writers Guild, and it would meet once a month, right? In Barnes and Noble. And I remember I wouldn't even go until I had a book published. I thought it was that kind of Writers Guild, but you can go anytime. Yeah. And I do recommend it. Now I think they meet at your brother's bookstore in downtown Evansville. But anyway, so I don't know if you were already there or I was already there.
I was already there because I remember seeing you come in. So before Caroline got there, people were like, have you heard? Caroline Fardig just got I think you had just gotten an agent, but maybe you had just gotten a book deal. I don't remember which one it was.
All right.
Whatever it was exciting, and people were talking about it in a very positive way, which was something that I really
They are very positive, yes.
The Guild.
That's a good group.
And I was like, who is this woman? I have to meet her. And then you came in, and I was like, oh, there she is. I didn't. I do think I had my book under contract, but I didn't have an agent, and that was still something kind of dream in the future kind of a thing at that time. And you had, this is funny, you had Lizzie with you.
Oh.
Yeah, so you came and she was like little. She was really little.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I was like, oh, and she's a mom like me. And I just admired you from afar for a while. So yeah.
That's so cool. But yeah, and we just kind of like, I guess just would talk because we were both moms and kind of moms. We both had Elizabeth, so that
we honestly like my oldest and your two kids are pretty much the same ages.
Yeah. So just kind of having like so much in common and whatever. And then we a few of us kind of went not split off from that group, but like added
another group,
and made a second group that was like Writers Guild is more like about writing the craft and all that stuff, and like just writing specifically. But we broke out and did Evansville Local Authors, ELA, that was more like the marketing side, or like how to, we would like give each other seminars on like if somebody did something that was like, everybody was like, well, how do you do that? Then one of us would like give a talk on like, well, here's how you do it.
I could use that even now. We haven't had that group for years.
It's been a long time. Yeah, with that one. And then the Writers Guild is still going strong.
Yeah,
but
the Writers Guild is still there. But and then just over time we started getting together for coffee/herbal tea.
Exactly. Yeah. Our favorite places.
I know. But it just kind of grew.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's in a nutshell how we met, and then now we're
here.
Hosts.
Here we are. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved the show, please show us some love. Follow, subscribe, rate, and review Wrong Side of 40 wherever you get your podcasts.
Next time, we will be going with a Christmas theme. We're going to do easy holiday recipes. We're going to do neaten up your holidays, and you'll find out what that is when next episode drops. And we're also going to do some Christmas nostalgia.
Come back soon and see us on the Wrong Side of 40.
To get more information on the topics we discussed today, including product links and discount codes, visit carolinefardig.com/wrongsideof40. That's carolinefardig.com/wrongsideof40.
Keep in mind, we're not doctors or specialists or even top experts in our fields. Any health advice you hear on this podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only.
For behind-the-scenes photos and videos, follow @WrongSideOf40 on Instagram. Thanks for listening, you awesome Gen Xers.